A modern genetic investigation reopens the most explosive question of the 20th century. For decades, Adolf Hitler's private life has lived in the shadow of myth, propaganda, rumor, and deliberate destruction of evidence. The world knew him as the architect of war and genocide, yet the man behind the dictatorship remained strangely elusive, a leader obsessed with blood purity, yet a figure whose own ancestry has been the subject of intense speculation. In recent years, a new wave of scientific inquiry, driven by genetic researchers, forensic historians, and DNA specialists, has reignited a long-dormant question that Hitler feared more than any battlefield defeat. What secrets might Hitler's own DNA reveal? A puzzle buried under rubble. When the Third Reich collapsed in 1945, Soviet forces recovered fragments of what they believed were Hitler's remains, a jawbone, teeth, and a skull fragment. Over the decades, the authenticity of these items has been debated, dismissed, and defended. The mystery only deepened when Russia tightly restricted access to the relics during the Cold War. But in the late 20th and early 21st century, limited forensic testing, combined with DNA studies on items believed to belong to Hitler's relatives, opened a small but explosive window into the dictator's biological past. The genetic shock, haplogroups and ancestry. A controversial but widely discussed genetic investigation involving DNA samples believed to be from Hitler's living relatives suggested that his paternal lineage may have belonged to haplogroup Eon Boneb. This haplogroup is most common in North Africa, parts of the Middle East, Jewish populations, Mediterranean Europe. While the results were never officially confirmed by governments or scientific institutions, the findings fueled a wave of historical reassessment. For a dictator obsessed with racial purity, the revelation, if verified, would be nothing less than historical irony. The bombshell, a contradiction at the core. Hitler's ideology was built upon strict definitions of Aryan identity. His policies murdered millions based on the false belief in racial hierarchy. If the DNA evidence were ever conclusively proven, it would mean Hitler himself did not fit the racial categories he enforced on others. This possibility has led historians and psychologists to explore deeper questions. Did Hitler privately fear something about his own ancestry? Did rumors about his family background influence his radical racial obsession? Was the brutality of his policies rooted in personal insecurity? Some scholars suggest that Hitler's paranoia about racial contamination may have stemmed from deeply personal, unconfirmed family rumors he encountered as a young man. The missing pieces, what we still don't know. Despite the sensational discussion, several obstacles prevent full confirmation. 1. Soviet remains are uncertain. Multiple studies claim the skull fragment attributed to Hitler actually belonged to a woman. 2. Direct DNA from Hitler does not exist. No authenticated biological sample, hair, blood, bone, has been verified beyond doubt. 3. Family samples are limited. Most of Hitler's relatives avoided the spotlight. Some destroyed evidence on purpose. Thus, the DNA bombshell is not a final verdict. It's a scientific mystery that remains unresolved. Why the question still matters. Hitler's life has become a symbol of how ideology can weaponize identity. This new genetic speculation challenges the foundations of that ideology. It forces modern readers to confront a painful truth. Racial purity was never real, not for humanity, and not even for the man who built an empire on it. The possibility that Hitler possessed ancestry outside his own racial myth is more than historical irony. It is a reminder that genetics does not define worth, morality, or destiny.